Should West Virginia University football end their series with Alabama in order to make way for the backyard brawl against Pitt? We're talking about that up next on VOM Live. Let's go.
I'm following like Voice of Morgantown and like
Sure.
What's up, West Virginia fans? My name is Brad Smith. Rush Bishop joining us tonight. Rush, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing great. We're almost there, man. It's preseason just started in the NFL, so we're getting that nice little taste there. And tell you what, counting down the Saturdays to week 0, get Farmageddon kicking off in Ireland to lead off college football season. So excited about that. And then a week after, got West Virginia playing. So can't wait, brother.
Can't wait, man. Literally the best time of the year right now. So I wanted to welcome Rush, guys. Rush is, I'm excited to have him a part of the team. He's going to serve as our Voice of Morgantown's director of content, but he's also a partner. He's a key part of our future and someone who I'm thrilled to have on here. He'll be leading our charge on YouTube. And so, Rush, you've worked with us for what, 2 or 3 weeks now. I couldn't be any more excited to have you on the team, buddy.
Brad, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all that you've done for me and to be part of the team here. A lot of you may know me from the Ryan and Rush show. Ryan McIntyre and I did that for a bit and had a mutual parting of the ways. It all worked out well. I have a great opportunity here. Obviously, he's doing his college experience thing, and looking forward to kicking off the Rush show this week. I think we'll do episode 1 Tuesday night, and perfect time with West Virginia football right around the corner. Again, Brad, thank you for everything. I'm happy to be part of this awesome team. Yeah.
So tonight's topic, buddy, we are looking at Pitt and West Virginia after this season are not scheduled to play again until 2029. But the Mountaineers do play next year against the Alabama Crimson Tide in Morgantown. So in 2026, we play Alabama. And then in 2027, we travel to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. Rush, what do you think, buddy? Should we continue this? Should we keep this series? Should we try to find a way out of the Alabama series to get Pitt back on the schedule? What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I think we need to get out of this Alabama series. And let me, I know we'll dive deep into it here and look at future scheduling here coming up, but I want to separate the two issues. Should we be playing Pitt every year? Yes, it doesn't matter who's on our schedule. Alabama, Ohio, we should be playing Pitt over anyone. I mean, we all agree there. And we shouldn't even have to be worried about scheduling Pitt, right? They should just be a conference opponent. So I think everyone in the world agrees across the border. So we'll put that to the side for now. Here's my frustration with playing Alabama these next 2 years. When this game was originally announced, it was announced back in 2019. The Neil Brown era hadn't even started yet. They hadn't even played James Madison yet. And Shane Lyons, announced this game. And, I think his employer is now Alabama. So it's kind of funny how all that works out. Yeah. And I think this scheduling is just a microcosm for the Shane Lyons era at West Virginia, right? I think the idea is Neil Brown was supposed to come in here, dominate. By the time we were getting to 26, 27, we would be able to compete with an Alabama. Obviously, that's not the case. And I'm not saying now we don't have the right guy in here now to compete like an Alabama, but I get frustrated when we play the Penn States, the Alabamas. I'll say the teams, I know we're West Virginia. I know we always have a chance, but I'm going to say the team's above us. And it just is what it is, especially in a 9-conference schedule. And we have 3 non-con games, and we need to try to make one of those Pitt and one an FBS team. We got to be going bowling every year. We got to bring in that revenue, and we just can't be scheduling what have a high chance of potential losses and prevent us from bringing more revenue in and prevent us from going bowling. I know it looks great on paper, but I'm not for this at all until we get some other things in line before we schedule opponents like an Alabama, like a Penn State.
I've heard a lot of people make that same argument, Rush, and to me, obviously I'd want to play Pitt as well every single year, but I honestly would be even more excited to see Alabama come into Morgantown next year than Pitt. Is that crazy?
No, it's not crazy in the sense where, right, in a way, when you do play an opponent above you, you do have nothing to lose, right? So if you lose to them, so be it. We thought that was going to be a loss anyway. But if you win, it's a high reward, low risk situation. The real risk you have is, could that loss prevent you from going bowling? Which it doesn't matter which bowl it is, you want to bring in that revenue. So yes, the idea of beating an Alabama on opening college football weekend and West Virginia starting off the season early with a small little number next to her name and giving us a chance to make it to the college football playoff. I get what you're saying, Brad. Completely agree with you. But the Pitt thing is just, man, that's like a hatred that drives us. Like that series is just driven by hate. That's just, it's almost like a different emotion out of your brain that you get from playing a Pitt. So I get it. I just don't like the potential consequences of that loss on our schedule.
Yeah, let me run this by you, man. Once we beat Pitt this year, we could hold over the fact that we have beaten them for 3 years. We could talk about this win this year for 3 years and hold that over against them. That's another motivator, man.
Absolutely it is. I mean, we could talk about a former head coach and we should be 3-0 since we've started playing him again, but we don't need to digress there. But you're right. When you get that final win and there's a break in the series, you always go back to what happened last. I get that. My frustration is I get the idea of wanting to beat an Alabama, but I think we can still play an SEC team, but why aren't we playing like a Mississippi State or a Vanderbilt, I guess, beat Alabama last year. But you know what I'm saying? I guess the idea is like, I get it. I get the idea behind it, but to me, it's just always something that sounds good in theory. And then when it comes to practicality, it just crap. If we didn't lose to Alabama, then we'd be doing this. And I just feel like unless we go to an 8-game conference schedule, I don't want to be trying to punch up.
I hear you, man. I think I was really excited. Well, no, I was really excited when Penn State was coming into Morgantown last year. I got my hopes all up, and I was like, "Oh, we're going to beat Penn State." And then the game started, and it was like, "Oh man, these guys are on a different level than us right now." Having said that, it was Neil Brown.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely correct, Brad. Like I said earlier and alluded to earlier, we have the guy in Rich Rodriguez if we are to beat an Alabama now. Like, Neil Brown is exactly who Neil Brown is. We know we're not beating the better teams. We know if the games come down to a shootout, we're not winning those. We beat who we should beat and we lose to who we should lose to. And I think with Rich Rod, now we are rejuvenated in a sense where I feel like beating Alabama, there could be a chance there. I'm hoping for it. I'm not counting on it, sort of thing. But at a minimum, you are correct in that we have the right people in place to pull off an upset like this.
Yeah. So I hate to ever agree with Pat Narduzzi. I hate to agree with anything he says. One of my least favorite people in college athletics, but he says he wants to make it happen, man. He says that they're willing to move games around. They're willing to shift things around. His guys love the West Virginia game. I don't know, man. I hate to agree with Pat Narduzzi.
Well, it's that mutual hate that almost gets mistaken for respect, right? It's like, that's the thing. If we hate Pitt so much, but if there's one thing we agree on, we just want to play each other to show how much we hate. So yeah, I'm with you. You don't want to agree with the enemy, but if the agreement is war against the enemy, then hey, we'll at least agree on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, like we've said, guys, here's the thing. If you would have asked me last year, and people did talk to me about this last year, did I want to play Alabama last year? Absolutely not. I had no interest because I knew we didn't have a chance. But this is not Neil Brown's West Virginia Mountaineers anymore. This is Rich Rodriguez. And I want to play and beat anyone in the country, and I feel like that we can compete with anyone in the country, and I want to prove that. And I think who better than Alabama at home to prove that to?
You're not wrong, Brad. You're definitely not wrong, and I do appreciate and I get your sentiment. I just think that this football program right now is unfortunately in I'll say a fragile state. I think we're very optimistic about the future. It's not like we're in a fragile state like a Mississippi State and being like, oh, where are we going from this point forward? I do think we are very optimistic, but it's a very we're in the transfer portal era. We're in the NIL era, right? We're never going to have the resources and funds of an Alabama, of some of these upper. I mean, even in the Big 12, right? There was that quote going around, Neil Brown made sure that he said it on his way out, but talked about West Virginia is a bottom, revenue generating Big 12 school. And that's why you need a Rich Rod in here that's going to get every ounce of talent out of the guys that we are able to bring in here. But until we set ourselves and put ourselves in positions where we're winning and can do that consistently, and then all right, we got a couple years of stability under us. Yeah, we've beaten in Ohio, or we've beaten this mid-major or these lower ACC, SEC schools. Okay, now who's next? And I get it. These schedules are made so far in advance now, and maybe that'll change here coming up with how, conferences keep expanding, network deals, that sort of thing. So I'm aware of that. But, and I know we'll talk about this, I think a perfect example of the games that we need to be putting on our schedule, and this is a shout out to Ren Baker, the anti-Shane Lions, is the Virginia game we have in Charlotte. That is a perfect game. It has the regional component. It has absolutely, we should be favored in that game. We can beat those guys. And then that's what you get going to build momentum in your program. Then it's like, all right, now at the end of the 20s, early 30s, let's go play Bama. So it's like we were saying earlier, everyone thought Neil Brown was going to be a slam dunk. And yeah, maybe at the time of the hiring, it was the right hire on paper, but we saw what that turned into. And they basically took a risk with it and said, Neil Brown's going to be successful. We'll be ready to play Alabama in 26. And well, we may be ready, but it's not going to be under Neil Brown. It'll be under Rich Rod.
So just in Shane Lyons' defense, Rush, I think we need to say that at the time that this was scheduled, Nick Saban was the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. And so I think that storyline of him returning home to play in Morgantown would have been spectacular. And I think that maybe Shane Lyons was looking at that and thinking, this is too good to turn down.
Well, I'll counter that because Nick Saban clearly played Shane Lyons. He's like, yeah, I'll do that. And then he retires 2 years later. So, but that's the problem. That was the problem with Shane Lyons. He's a good guy and he meant well. He tried to plan out too much and be too calculated and do too much on paper. And where you have like a Ren Baker, right? That's going out, meeting with fans, not wearing a suit and being in a golf cart driving away from fans. Like, I want to meet people. I want to hear from people. I'll bring back the black uniforms. Who do you guys want to play? All right. Like that fan interaction, like because we need to raise money, right? Where are we going to get the money and donations from? The fans. How are we giving them a product they like? And yes, Ren Baker is giving us a product we like, but unfortunately, whether it be the Alabama game, because they schedule these far in advance, or the Ohio, we got to go to Ohio this year. I know they're returning in 27 and 29, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not optimistic about that game, especially the week before we play Pitt. We are still, unfortunately, dealing with the consequences of having Shane Lyons as our athletic director. And I don't mean to trash the guy. I really don't, because I know he's a good guy, and I've talked to people that knew him well.
Same.
I'm talking about him and his position as athletic director in West Virginia. And I'm not going to say it was a total failure, but we are aware of the decline in West Virginia sports that happened under his watch.
For sure. Yeah. And I think he could probably explain the Alabama series. I don't know if he has any explanation at all for the Ohio series. What was he thinking, man?
My guess would be us going there and then returning twice. The idea was financially. So we didn't necessarily pay him to come here. So we'll say, instead of us paying you to come to Morgantown, we'll go visit you guys once, but you got to come to Morgantown twice. So I think our payment is our fans traveling to Ohio to watch the game. That is the only way I see it. But, dude, pay a team to get smacked in Morgantown, man. That you're going to make way more money doing that. How bad it's going to look when we lose there. You know,
yeah.
I hope we don't. I'm worried about the game. Iowa State just lost there a couple years ago. It happens. It's an early sneak game. Like these early non-conference games, week 1, week 2, week 3 in college football, they're up for grabs. And there's no guarantee of a win there, especially first year with Rich Rod trying to get everyone right. Pitt on deck. That's a scary game. That's not a good game to be.
This is the absolute definition of a trap game, right, Rush? I mean, right before the second week, right before Pitt. I mean, this is a game that if I'm Rich Rod, I'm telling the players this is the game we need to focus on more than any game this season because don't overlook it because Ohio is a very, very good program. Even though they have a new coach and they have a lot of new players, this is a good football program.
Yeah, to be fair, if you do play in Alabama, you know you're not going to have guys sleeping. They'll be up and hopefully get ready for Alabama. But I thought that way against Penn State last year, and we all know what happened there. Yes, exactly. This Ohio game is an absolute trap game. This is, I mean, it's just a summary of Shane Lyons is an athletic director in a nutshell, and we just got to deal with it. And whatever happens, happens. And here's what I will say about it. I know we shouldn't talk like this, but Brad, as we talk about too, it's also our responsibility to tell people the truth and be realistic about situations. If we lose the Ohio game, it may be one of those things where it could be a long-term blessing because if we lose to Ohio, you think we'll be hungry against Pitt? You think we'll be hungry when Big 12 play comes around? It doesn't affect our Big 12 record. You know, you can still go through the Big 12, have a chance to play in the championship game, and so on. And it could be one of those things that wakes a sleeping giant sort of thing. So it may hurt, you know, for a week. It maybe for some folks a little longer, but it could also be one of those things that's very beneficial. I don't want to talk like that. I want to win them all. I get it. But it's also like everyone, like this is a new era of things. Let's 1 week at a time. It'll be okay. I promise you guys, it'll be all right.
Yeah, William over on YouTube said, I choose Alabama because it's a sexier option. Look, Alabama won't be on the schedule forever. Okay, so why not have both for 2 years? So, yeah, we would obviously love to have both Alabama and Pitt. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Rush, I'm going to ask you this. What do you think? Is it a wilder atmosphere in Morgantown for Alabama or for Pitt? Which one do you think has a more electric atmosphere?
No, it is Morgantown. Anyone will have a reason to drink and go crazy there. I do think fans will travel up from Bama and they'll get rowdy and crazy. But, dude, you know how it is. Pitt, West Virginia. There's just this. There's something that just feels it like this is beyond football. This is a battle of cultures, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Alabama will get rowdy too, and guys will be up. But like, you've seen this too, Brad, like in Morgantown. Like, if it's not Pitt, it feels like almost every opponent but Pitt. Maybe there's a couple out there, but like when we have, like when we were new to the Big 12, or we have opponents that we don't play often and they come to Morgantown, how many opposing fans are like, we love West Virginia. Like they welcomed us in. They showed us a tailgate. Like, you know, obviously we want to beat them on the football field, but like, we get rowdy, but we have a great welcoming fan base as long as you don't have a Pitt, sweater on. Like, so I Pitt will get way rowdier because that's just hate. That's just pure hate. Like, I don't feel like we hate really anyone else. Like, maybe we get annoyed with Marshall or, Virginia. Some people do hate Virginia Tech, but like our hate's different. Like, yes, absolutely.
If you're over on YouTube, guys, if you could, please hit subscribe, leave us a comment, leave us a like. We would appreciate that. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, Rush, I don't know who has not subscribed to the Voice of Morgantown YouTube channel. I can't imagine, especially when you have an opportunity to win season tickets. Guys, you'll be able to see, of course, Robert Morris, Utah, TCU, Colorado, Dion, Primetime, Sanders coming to Morgantown, and Texas Tech. The only game not included is Pitt. We will be giving the Pitt tickets again as well. But 5 games, guys, all you have to do is hit subscribe. We're giving those tickets away in 2 weeks. So we appreciate our followers over on YouTube. Rush, let's take a look at our schedule for 2026. This is next season. Right now, currently, Alabama rolling into town. So that's big. UT Martin, interesting. And then that's an automatic win. And then I love this game. You mentioned it earlier. Virginia Cavaliers. We know how Mountaineer fans travel to Charlotte. This will be an extraordinary game. I love this addition by Ren Baker this year.
Couldn't agree more. As I talked about earlier, these are the types of games we need to be playing year in, year out. I will say what's interesting about this, no mid-major here. One from the SEC. Obviously, we got our FCS opponent there and ACC. So, hey, I will say the benefit to playing Alabama, you got them week 1. You got the whole summer to prepare for them. You'll have a healthy roster, knock on wood. And, I guess if you are to play them, might as well be right away.
Absolutely. Totally agree, man. So this is 2027. Of course, this could change. But right now we have us traveling to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama, VMI, and then Ohio coming to Morgantown. Do I think we have a real shot to beat Alabama in Alabama? Probably not. They don't often lose there. But again, I think it's an interesting game.
It is. I mean, if we can find a way to split this series, that's all you can do. But it's a tall ask. I mean, I guess the benefit too to playing Alabama opening weekend is a lot of the opening weekends. They have gotten better about this in college football with scheduling more marquee matchups, I will say, but it is an opportunity for prime time and eyes on our product. So that's why you got to show up to games when you're in the national spotlight. So, I keep thinking the bad taste in my mouth with that Penn State game last year. You gotta show up in prime time.
That was rough last year. And then 2028, we were talking about this a little before the show, Brush. Tennessee and Charlotte. I love the Charlotte games. So I think that's a very winnable game for us. And then Youngstown State and Akron. So I really like the 2028 schedule. And then we'll have Pitt back on the schedule in 2029 unless something changes. Again, Rush, I kind of like the idea of us beating Pitt this year and being able to hold it over their heads for 3 years. I think that would be beautiful. I think that's a great thing. But if there's a way to get Pitt back on the schedule, we've got to do it.
Amen. And the way to really do it is be in the same conference. I mean, they got to figure that out. Like that makes it easy across the board. Then we're, having a different episode here. I'm with you, man. Just figure it out. You have to.
So right now, it sounds like that Rich Rodriguez wants to play the game. Pat Narduzzi wants to play the game. I haven't heard Ren Baker come out and say it necessarily, but I'm sure that he absolutely wants to have Pitt. Have you heard him say that he wants I'm sure he wants to play Pitt every year. But right now, if we were to get out of the Alabama game, we would have to pay them $2 million. I don't know, man. What do you think? Is it worth paying that $2 million fee to try to get out of the Alabama game to add Pitt?
Well, that's why Ren hasn't commented on it, because right now, obviously, it's not. If it was worth it, this would have already been done by now.
Right.
No, not on the not as it stands right now. You would have to somehow incentivize Alabama, or what you could maybe do is push it to the 30s, somewhere in the where there's not games that they've scheduled yet. I don't know how you would make that right with Alabama, because you don't want any booster putting up that money. You'd rather that $2 million going to NIL. It just it would have to make sense financially, and that's what it comes down to. And that's why Ren hasn't commented on it. And clearly, it just shows there hasn't been a way to make it work yet where it financially makes sense for West Virginia.
I think they could potentially mutually come up with an agreement to end the series. I don't know if that's a possibility, but I'm sure that we know that Ren Baker's doing everything he can behind the scenes to make that happen. I think the best case scenario would be if Alabama approached West Virginia and say, hey, and I think Ren Baker's probably playing it this way. Hey, we would like to get out of the series. SEC currently plays 8 conference games. They're thinking about going to playing 9 conference games. And if that happens, it's very possible that Alabama in the future could say, hey, we need to get out of this series with West Virginia in order to play those 9 conference games. And I think that would be the ideal situation, because we get out of the series and then also get that $2 million.
Yeah, it would need to happen fast though, because next year's, just around the corner. And the problem with that though, Brad, is it's opening weekend. It's going to be hard they're not going to want to start. You'd have to do more schedule manipulation because they're not going to open the SEC won't let schools play each other week one. I mean, I guess there's probably no rules against it, but I would say the easiest way, if the Big 12 is like, okay, if the ACC and SEC are going to play 8 conference games, then we're going to play 8 conference games too. I think it would be easier for West Virginia to get rid of a Big 12 team, add a Pitt, than for Alabama to go and add an SEC team in there, especially with it being week one.
I think ideally, honestly, we'd like to see the ACC fall apart and have teams like Pitt and Virginia Tech come over to the Big 12. That would be ideal for us, and then we wouldn't have to worry about whether we're going to play them every year or not. Yeah,
I mean, those rumblings have been going on for a while, and then there was headlines, a couple weeks ago with Clemson and UNC looking at the SEC. I don't know how big that is, because, I mean, right now I think we just hear those rumblings every so often, especially with Florida State and all. But if this is going to get changed, Brad, it's got to happen soon. I don't know if there's enough time. That's the problem.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Rush, anything else you need to say before we bounce, buddy?
No. Let's go Mountaineers. There's only one thing to say.
Yeah, man, it was great having you on, guys. Rush, his show will be starting soon. It would be a nightly, weekly, weekday show, 10-minute show called The Rush Show. We're excited to have him a part of Voice of Morgantown. Guys, have a wonderful week. Let's go Mountaineers.
I'm following Voice of Morgantown and
sure.